Hello everyone out in Vlogland. It's Latoya again. I'm sorry it's been a while since I've done a video blog because it's just what's on TV has been garbage lately. Nothing's really moved me. Up until last night where the premiere of Pastors of LA actually came on. And when I tell you I was moved, I mean I was moved, like for real moved, to the point where I went in the kitchen and I got my wine. And I knew I was going to need it for this review because I already feel some kind of way about it. I'm going to try to keep it as clean as possible. Clean as possible. I'm going to try to keep it as real, like I always do, as possible, but as clean as possible. I'm not going to try to go off. I actually talked to, my covering, and at first she was like, Toy, don't say nothing. I mean, she was basically saying, Toy, don't say anything unless you're going to say something positive. So I'm going to try to keep it as above board as I possibly can, but all of my vlogs, I go in, I let have, and this is not going to be any different. So with that being said, I'm going to get into this thing. I actually missed the episode last night. I had to actually go online and find it, so I was able to watch it. And the entire time I was watching this Pastors of LA with Dietrich Haddon, Minister McClendon, Minister Gibson, Minister Noel Jones, and the fifth minister, his name just escapes me. But I'm sitting here, I'm watching this episode, and my leg literally would not stop moving. I mean, I think my mouth was open for half of it. I think I rolled my eyes the other half of it, and it was just crazy. I mean, you have these men who are supposed to be messengers from God, pastors over people, flock. I mean, ministering to people, helping people, and let me say this up front. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Your pastors are not perfect. That kind of thing. But it's one thing to be imperfect. It's another thing to air your dirty laundry for the whole world to see and to sensationalize it. I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So, starting with Pastor Gibson. He was a pastor that was a former Crip, and who was on drugs, Crip crackhead, on drugs, was basically in a situation where he OD, heard his mama say call on the name of Jesus. He did that, became, got saved, cleaned his life, and turned his life around. Out of the 5 ministers, he's the only one that I can honestly say has a heart for people. You feel it. It resonates from him. But on the same token, what kind of got me with him was this popcorn relationship that he had with his wife. I mean, every time you saw her, she was, oh, honey, okay, oh, baby, it's okay. Yeah, this is just a sandwich. All right. Of course, stop playing. That's not how you are at home. No wife is like that at home. No wife. I know they had the whole Stepford Wives movement, but stop playing. That's not what a shake is. I mean, I can't hate on the dynamic, but I'm just saying, reality TV, as we all know, is straight up not reality TV. But like I said, with Bishop Gibson, Pastor Gibson, he's the only one. And so I want to start with him first because he's probably the most positive I will be throughout this whole vlog. But he's the only one to me that really showed a form of sincerity. But let me get in his ass for a second. Dietrich Haddon said to him, I want you to do the call to the altar, okay, to win souls and that kind of thing. And it's so sad because we as a nation, as a group of people, as a community, have become so starstruck. We like the flashy stuff. We like the expensive things, like a name brand of a certain type, or Louis Vuitton, or something like that, or Hermes, or something like that grabs your attention. So to the point where you don't question the character of the person, you look at them having that stuff as if they have some type of status, or as if they're in some type of, or as if somehow they are superior to all mankind. So you got Pastor Gibson who stepped his ass on the stage to do the call to the altar with his Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton man purse. And that's what I call them. Because there's no reason why you got a Louis Vuitton man bag strapped around, crisscrossed around your body doing the altar call. And I'm going to go there for a second. Because you're talking about people who are coming to the altar to say, Jesus, I would like you to be Lord and Savior of my life. I want to invite you into my heart. John 3:16. I want to accept you as Lord and Savior. But you walking your behind on the damn stage with a Louis Vuitton crossbody? Why? For what? What purpose? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of like my thing is if I wanted to deliver a message to you, I'm going to make sure that I ain't got nothing that's going to take your attention away from what's coming out of my mouth. I want you to pay attention to me. I want you to look in my eyes. I want you to connect to me. I want something that is said out of my mouth to resonate with you. I'm not trying to showboat. I'm not trying to do all that because it's unnecessary. I'm going to leave my man purse on the chair and I'm going to come and take care of my business. And then when Dietrich told him, to expedite his altar call, he called an attitude. Listen, those people probably have been in that church for the past an hour to a half an hour, almost 2 hours with this concert. So not only they have praise and worship, they had they had praise and worship more than likely. Then they had a call for tithes and offering, right? Okay. Then you had church announcements. Then you want to become a member of the church. Then you got this 2-hour concert by Dietrich and his baby mama and the group, okay? Then on top of that, then you want to talk about the Crips and the Pics and the Two Chicks and the Bloods and the Hoods and all that kind of stuff. You want to talk about all that and take about another 30 minutes. Well, I mean, sir, I'm not mad at Dietrich. Get in there, do what you got to do so we can, keep this thing going. Like you said, the most important thing is the altar call. You're absolutely right. But keep that in context. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you say what you need to say and mean what you say so that people feel compelled to do what they need to do and get their lives right. So with Pastor Gibson, I love the fact that he has a heart for people. He has a heart for God. In a sense that he has a heart for people, but the jury's still out on him. I think he's a very sincere person, but I think he's gotten kind of, sucked in to the bullshit when it comes to the flim flam and the bling bling. Now, let me tell you, I like nice things too. But one thing about LaToya, one thing about this sister right here, if my stuff ain't right, if my house ain't in order, what you ain't gonna do is see me on somebody's soapbox telling you about your stuff. Now, I can use my example to help you out, or my life to help you out, but I'm not gonna be sitting here trying to showboat with you knowing that my closet dirty. I'm not going to do that. And we all dealing with some of everything. So it's always the way of how you do what you do that gets the point across and your message across. So with Pastor Gibson, I'm going to let that go. That's the nice side. That I have fulfilled my nice requirement. That was nice. Okay. Now we finna get in, let go and let have. I'm going to leave Dietrich Haddon for the end because I'm in Tampa, Florida, and he was right here, assistant pastors over here at Without Walls Ministry with Paula White and her husband. When they got divorced and all that foolishness, and she started messing with Benny Hinn, and but that's another vlog. But I'm gonna leave Dietrich Haddon to the end. I'm not gonna go in yet, but I'm gonna go on this Pastor McClendon. Now, when they show Pastor McClendon, he's sitting in his office with his wife. And his wife makes the announcement that some crazy woman who is local is claiming to be his wife. She's delusional. She around here doing whatever, and she's claiming her son as that son, and just all this flim flam, right? So what does Pastor McClendon says? He says, "Honey, we need to up security. If you want to file a restraining order, if you want to." Well, my question to you, Pastor McClendon, is what's going on that all that is necessary? Who's threatening your life? What's being said that somebody is threatening a pastor? For what? Why? Not saying you don't need, if you feel like, not saying you don't have the right to get whatever you want. But you made it perfectly known that you have an entourage. An entourage. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. My rabbi, who is nationwide, who not even nationwide, he's global. Let's be real. Global. My rabbi is global. I mean, his word is going to Australia. Well, what he's teaching is in Australia. It's in Jamaica. It's some everywhere. And when he comes down here, Rabbi is driving himself from Tampa to Orlando on any given Sunday, on any given Saturday, any given Friday. You know what I'm saying? To do Shabbat or to hold service or whatever. I mean, at any given time, he's doing that. And I just don't understand. I don't don't get it. But I will tell you this. What I do get about you is you about the bling. You about the flash. You about the titles. You about what people say about you. You know, one thing that Dietrich said that kind of made sense was before you had an entourage, you had a message. And so when he asked Pastor McClendon whether or not he would go to a smaller ministry, even if they could not give him the honorarium that he required, his response was, well, I travel like this, so if you cannot accommodate my travel or bring me to your place the way I prefer to come, then you don't want me. What kind of garbage is that? But the problem is this. I always say the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. And the proof meaning it's okay for you to prosper if your congregation look like you. If your congregation don't look like you, then something's wrong. Because one thing I do know about Hashem is that he is not a respecter of persons. You understand what I'm saying? When the Bible says it reigns on the just as well as the unjust, that's exactly what it means. Every principle, any principle that you enact and that you put into effect will work for whomever, whether it's the mob or the nun in the Catholic Church. But my thing is, at the end of the day, how many Bentleys are in your church, sir? How many people are riding around in Bentleys? How many people are in these, great grand homes? Because obviously what's coming out your mouth is that powerful that it's working for you. So if it's not working for those who are listening to it, then something is faulty. And sir, I think it's you. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? I don't have a title behind my name. I don't have accolades, nor do I have somebody with a certificate saying I was ordained by their ministry. But what I do know is Torah. That's what I do know. And what I do know and what I can decipher is propaganda. And that I understand very, very well. I mean, my thing is I can't never say if somebody's sticking their hand in the cookie jar or they toe in the cookie jar or looking in the cookie jar. But everybody can't be lying. Okay? And that's one thing to be true. Everybody can't be lying. If you got a woman cross the pond saying that that you her husband and this and the third, and you got a chick down the street, everybody can't be crazy. But I'm going to tell you what the gag is. The gag is while you were sitting there talking about your family, talking about your wife, talking about your kids, and this lifestyle that God has blessed you with, I looked in your wife's eyes and she's not happy. She's not happy. A woman can tell when a woman's happy. And we as women think, okay, well, who? He taking care of home. You live in this grand span house, honey. You drive whatever you want. But something ain't right. Something is missing. Because when you look in your wife's eyes, she ain't happy. And there's an untold story there. That's the one I want the cameras to be on. That's the one I want to have open her mouth and to let us know what the real deal is. Because everything that glitters ain't gold. And I guarantee your ass is not glittering. Your ass is some shitty ass carbon muck sitting around there. Because if your wife was able to tell the truth like she really wanted to tell the truth, you would be so ashamed that you would probably get the devil a high five because of the fact that it came finally out of the dark into the light. But it is what it is. I'm going to try to be kind of quick. Because it's already 12 minutes into this thing. I don't want it to go really, really long. But with that being said, we're going to move on to Bishop Noel Jones. I need a drink. Hold on. Now, this is Romance Red. You can get it from Cooper's Hawk. If you don't have a Cooper's Hawk, go online. It's one of the best red wines you could possibly have. I just want to take a little alcohol, a little wine break. So I'm going to go in on Bishop Pastor Noel Jones because it must happen tonight, or I won't be able to sleep. So with that being said, I'm going to put this down. I had to have it thin my blood a little bit because Lord knows I want a headache. Pastor Noel Jones, where do I begin with thee? This man is sitting across from a table, sitting across from a woman at a table, who he emphatically says, my friend of 16 years. She is not my wife. She is not my fiance. She is not my girlfriend. She is my friend of 16 years. Let me translate that for y'all who ain't so spiritual. She ain't my wife. She ain't my girlfriend. She is my hoe for the past 16 years. Noel Jones has made it perfectly clear. Baby, I'm all man. And I'm single. But with that being said, he found somebody who can keep their legs open and their mouth shut for the past 16 years. Now, this is the gag. The gag is this chick, for the past 16 years, ain't got no quarrels with the role that she's played in his life. She is okay with being his sideline hoe. She okay with that. You know what I'm saying? To the point where she's like, look, you don't know when to turn it off. Meaning that we're supposed to have time together. A part of me ain't even mad at Noel Jones because, baby, at the end of the day, if it works for you, then work what works for you. But this is my problem. You a pastor of a congregation of about 2,000 plus people, and you're single, and you're saying women, which I know they do in church, throw their drawers, bra, everything they can in your possible direction. But with that being said, you've been home with this woman for the past 16 years, and at any given time, you can't sit there and tell me that the conviction that will hit any person who is not living their life accordingly did not hit you in the past 16 years. But the hypocrisy of it all is, what you're saying is that God's anointing will still flow, that you'll still be able to do everything that you need to do and still live the lifestyle that you choose to live, even if you're getting some draws on the side. It's sad. Because for those who don't know better, and it's a lot of y'all who don't know better, you sit there and you co-sign his foolishness. You don't hold him to accountability, but you expect shit to work out for you. You don't understand that bullshit comes from the top to the bottom. And I hate to say it like that, but obviously it's the truth. It does. It does. If your leadership is full of shit, how you expect your life to be fruitful and peaceful and smooth sailing? How? Who does that? Let's take a corporation. Let's take a business. If the CEO ain't about nothing, if he ain't doing anything and the results are not being seen down to the lowest of the stockholders, guess what they gonna do? They gonna get another CEO. But y'all sit there and y'all play church so damn much that you don't even know the difference. Oh, let him lay hands. Oh, he gave a great message. Oh, he gave a great word. What did he say though? What did he say that could actually change your situation that you're going through today? What did he say is gonna make an absolute change in your life at this very moment? Probably absolutely goddamn nothing. Why? Because at the end of the day, when he gets his change and he puts it in whatever he's gonna put it in, and he gets in his fast car and he's going to play chess, he going to lay down and in between that have a legs to do what he need to do so he can walk up and get up and tell you what you ain't supposed to be doing. Give me a break. I mean, out of all of them, I was really, really, truly surprised by him. Because I thought to myself, damn, I mean, do you take us to be that stupid? Do you take us to be that foolish and that naive that we don't know that you sit up here home with this heifer? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the funny thing is, she don't make any quarrels about it. She ain't trying to play no role. She ain't trying to push the brother into marrying her. She ain't trying to push a brother into claiming her to be anything other than what she is. But at the end of the day, I'm not even mad with her. She gets all the perks and none of the hassles. She got to wash his drawers, and she damn sure ain't got to cook his food. Hey, if it works for Pastor Noel Jones, and if y'all like it like that, then y'all deal with it. It's nowhere in the world I could be in anybody's church on that TV show and sit up there on a Sunday thinking, oh, okay, well, in spite of the fact that he's airing his dirty laundry, I'd be like, you don't have enough respect for me in your congregation to get your stuff in order before you put it all out on oxygen. But it is what it is. Okay, so then you got the other minister who I can't think of his name. That lets you know how much of an impact he made. But one thing I will say, he's a very attractive man. And he made it perfectly known. I mean, with once you got past the I don't know, the greetings, I guess, if I could say it like that. One thing he made perfectly known is that he likes sex. Sex is of the utmost importance to him. And he made it known. I want y'all to know y'all can be saved and sexual because God made us like that. Let me tell you something. What you do with your wife in your bedroom and how you love your wife and your kids, that's great. That's wonderful. But the message that comes, that kind of radiates from that to me, it's kind of like, before you became ultra super saved, you was something else. You was skating and you was banging and hanging. You know what I'm saying? That's the impression I got because, you was just like, I just want people to know you can be saved and sexual. Okay. Your wife, it's, the ministry is great. And one thing that just helps me is that my husband is fine. Yeah, he good looking. But one thing I'm going to tell you, sister, if you think he fine, guess what? The next chick think he fine too. And one thing about it, you need to pray that, I ain't going to say that. Yes, I will. Pray that his loyalty to you, his vows that he took is exactly what he meant. Because one thing about it, there's always a bad. So, better than you. So hopefully he's a man of character to where he's not swayed, one way or the other for the next thing going. One thing my honey always tells me, he says, Toya, if you always chase after the one that's better than the one you got, you always running. And then on top of that, you never know what you had. You never know what you get. You never know what you lost because you're still running for the next the next one that's better than the one you left. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave that alone. I mean, again, he really didn't make that big of an impact to me because obviously I don't remember what his name is. Last but not least, Dietrich had it. Now, Dietrich, if you ever see this vlog, which I'm pretty sure you'll never probably see this vlog, but hey, maybe somebody who knows you will send it to you. Let's be real. You and me, okay? I know you're in my bedroom. It's okay. I don't want you. We can have a real candid conversation. Let's be real. You didn't start fucking around with other women when you got to California. Your punk ass was fucking around with women right here in Tampa, Florida. You was up here sleeping and slipping and banging and slanging when you was right here in Tampa, Florida at Without Walls International Church with the gold and silver hands. Let's be real. Okay? Let's call a spade, right? When Demeter and you and y'all was doing whatever you was doing because she knew that your ass was hoish. She knew your ass was hoish then. She knew your ass was hoish when you got up and you left and you went to California. And maybe, just maybe, she thought that you was going to be or do things differently. But no, you wasn't going to do that. You was slipping and dipping and slipped your ass right in that heifer and she got pregnant. And the media was like, enough is enough because y'all didn't have any babies. And she had been your wife by your side when you was just D, when you were just dirty D. You know what I'm saying? The skinny kid with the big mouth. When you was just that dude, you know what I'm saying? When you ain't look all, not saying that you look all great now, but I'm pretty sure if this is your greatest, then hellation, the stuff that we didn't see must have been hell. With that being said, when you ain't have nothing, when you was trying to make it, she was by your side helping you get it. Then you get to a place where you start feeling yourself and start reading your own paper clippings and got up here with this chick right here who kind of favors Demeter, which is crazy to me. But, you get with her and, and she gets pregnant and now she the fiance. And I want to tell you right now on this vlog, that ring that you gave her is garbage. I see all them little itty bitty diamonds make it one little big diamond. That's foolishness. Stop playing. That means that you ain't do something right. But that ring is garbage. But with that being said, brother, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, if we're completely real, like I just said, we're completely real. We all know that you was fucking before she got pregnant. She just happened to be the one that you impregnated. Not because you wasn't fucking, not because you wasn't, was sleeping around, not because of that. We all knew you was doing that. It's the fact that you got her pregnant. So you start feeling yourself, and she must have told you she was on birth control or something because you believed her and went up in that thing without a raincoat on, which is dumb as hell to me because I'm like, and thank God that you only got a baby versus herpes or something like that. But hey, it is what it is. But my thing is this whole, I'm mad at the church thing because they coming down on you. They supposed to. Like you said before, men put men at a higher standard. But when you take that, when you take up the mantle, in a sense, to be that dude, then people are watching you. People who are struggling. And you damn right, you messed up. You damn right. It ain't for me to tell you messed up because you see you messed up. But on the same token, if you was real serious about that chick, if you was real serious about making it right, what you would have done after you was divorced from Demeter, was you would have went ahead, swallowed your pride, and married that young lady immediately. Stop having her walk around here with your damn baby out of wedlock, right? And this little raggedy ass ring on her finger. Talking about we finna get married. That ain't nothing but some damn but for some damn TV. One thing about it, as they always say, if he'll cheat with you, he'll cheat on you. So what she really needs to understand is it was fine and great when he was blowing somebody else and she was getting all the good times and the perks and he was telling her how pretty she was. But the moment she become his wife, she better check his ass. Why? Because what's the difference between you and Demeter? Not a damn thing. And as good as you think your sex game is, sex ain't never keep a man. Ever, ever, ever. You better have something else. So when I look at the whole thing and, looking at the whole, that blasphemy that she was talking about we don't live together for religious purposes. But you was tooting and booting it and religion ain't play no part in it. You was tooting and booting it, letting him slide in from the back, sideways, top, bottom, all that and the third, whining and dining, praising and pimping all at the same time against your religious purposes, but you can't live in the same house with that man for religious purposes. Stop playing. But you know what? I ain't been a Christian in a long time, so I guess I'm free to say what what I feel like saying. But with it all being said, at the end of the day, the bottom line is the fact that this is what is on TV, and for some reason, somewhere, somebody convinced somebody that somebody was gonna look at this foolishness and be the number one delivered, number two ministered to. How? When? Who? You know, by doing this TV show, you guys have basically signed your own death warrant. You know, you might be sensationalized, you know, in the world or whatever, but you don't know the damage you have just done. Because at the end of the day, it's like this. You're blinded, of course, because, you know, a lot of times you're regurgitating and talking about stuff that you've heard that's been trickled down from one person and one pastor to another, and you truly don't really understand anything. You need to really kind of get back to basics, not to your Greek understanding, but to the understanding which it was originally written, which is Hebrew. If you get that down, then maybe we'll have something to talk about. But I'm not going to sit up here and preach. I'm not even trying to point a finger. But I will say this. Because it was on TV, because I watched it, I have a right to comment on it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to comment on it. You know, you know, again, what can I say? I think that the whole thing is foolishness. It's foolishness. But one thing I will say, thank you for doing it, though. It's foolishness. Thank you for doing it. 2 reasons. Number 1, it gives me great material. I can't wait for next week so I can dig in again. And number 2 is foolishness because, you know, it really gives people who don't go to church an insight into Christianity as a whole. And in my personal opinion, it's like a little glimpse. And into the propaganda that goes on and that takes place on any given Sunday. It does that. And it definitely lets me know what it is that I personally need to talk about when I'm out here on these streets and I'm talking to different people and they ask me why I have a Star of David around my neck and why I do what I do, why I observe the feast, why I observe, you know, Sabbath, you know, why I keep dietary laws, why I do the things that are required truly in the Bible. And you know, it really gives me opportunity to really talk about those things because I just don't understand how you think about doing the same thing that everybody else do, that somehow your situation is going to be different. Difference happen when you do things differently. So with that being said, I've definitely gone over my time, at least by 16 minutes. I do apologize. I know it's going to take forever for this thing to download, but I would want to say just straight up, I'm back. You know, I'll be vlogging about pastors of LA, and I'm pretty sure, you know, I know my vlogs won't go as long as this one anymore, but it was the introduction. It was just a lot I had to say, period, point blank. So with that being said, you know, hit me up. You know, subscribe to my site. Subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, let me know. If you don't like what I'm saying, what I'm doing, let me know. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'll respond to everything. If you want to share it, definitely share it. I know it's long as hell, but definitely share it, and we can get something going here. Maybe I can get my own little thing like Funky Dineva. I don't know. But with that being said, guys, stay positive, stay real, stay about your business, and I will see you next week.